Happy today. I am William Brown from IamWilliamBrown.com. This is Disconnect to Connect, One Word Conversations. One Word Conversations is a self-discovery, relationship-building conversation designed to invite us to look at our language, to look at what we're saying to cause connection or disconnection. Many times we can gather all the lovely words that we can think of and not realizing that some of those words not only come with definitions, but they come with stories and expectations and hurts and fears. So the more that we're able to have a conversation with one word, we can really learn more about ourselves and each other and build relationships. One Word Conversation is brought to you by IamWilliamBrown.com, a place to help you be yourself and live your life. One way that I spotlight what's available at IamWilliamBrown.com is our U cards. Our U cards are intention setting cards. They're a game. They're just fun. So I invite you to go to I Am William Brown, the store, and get your U cards. So I picked 3 cards to set the intention for our conversation today. And it's I am complete. That has come up a lot. So I guess I need to pay attention to that. No matter how much I shuffle, it still reminds me that I am complete. You are unique. And there is no one newer than you. So with that in mind, I will invite you to share, comment, ask questions, subscribe, do all those things to let me know that these conversations have value to you and you want to be a part of them. So the word that we are going to look at today is centered. There's a lot of ways that this is showing up for me, and I use this a lot. Because I take on the label of being heart-centered. And so, I had a conversation about heart earlier within this, the podcast in season 1. And I said, I wanted to just look at centered and just really, what do I believe, understand, appreciate currently about being centered? So as I do, I invite a guest in so we can have a conversation. Good morning.
Beautiful. Good morning. I am, as I said before, very, very grateful for being here. And I was going to bring up heart-centered as a core area around centered today. So I'm glad that you brought it in. And I know, William, that you and I are so aligned right now with what we're doing, our purpose, our soul mission. And centered is a big part of it. So
wonderful. So this is the moment where I invite my guests to introduce themselves however it feels comfortable to them.
So my name is Andrea Reibmayr, and I am a transformational coach and certified quantum healer. I am founder of Wisdom of the Great Lakes Retreats. I have a podcast on news for the soul called Heart Healer. And I also wrote a book called Trust Leadership, Take Responsibility, Use Success, and Transform. And it really centers around being centered, being grounded.
Wow.
Which is where we're going to focus on today, which is also part of being centered.
Wow, wonderful. So the question of the morning is, how does the word centered land for you?
I'm going to just giggle here for a second. I keep moving my body. Quite honestly, centered is also your body. And I keep feeling I'm not centered right now on the screen. So I find that quite interesting. And I'm very aware. Centered is around awareness.
Great. Got it.
Not only, and I know that's a big part of your practice too. It's not only my perception of my awareness of my strengths, my preferences, but also where am I in my body, in my emotions? Where am I in this moment? Where's my energy? And I do have a practice that centers me, that grounds me every day. It is very important. And I do it with my clients. It's big part of the practice, so
Right.
that you're not only centered in all those forms, which I do with my clients, no self, no others, your energy, but so you're in flow.
Hmm.
If you're centered, you will be in flow.
Great. I think for me, and I feel the same thing about getting centered, and because I use a lot of, I've been embracing being grounded, because on this self-discovery journey that I'm on in awareness, is that I feel, I guess, this higher calling, this like taking me, somewhere, and within that, you know enlightenment, leveling up, all the words that we use. There is this feeling of being grounded at the same time, so I can stay present and be available for people. And I guess for myself, because I've shared on the show that I have monk tendencies. So so anytime that I don't want to, in some cases, deal with life or things that are going on, I can easily just retreat away and just not worry about the world at all. But I'm recognizing that that's not my call. My call is to, not just be available, but to be with, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and as a coach, I mean, we're trained to be present.
Mhm,
Presence is such a big part of our practice, to
mhm,
be create a safe space for our clients, create that trust and connect. I love
mhm,
the fact your show is called Disconnect to Connect. And what I find often with my clients, it's interesting that you say that the more you do your practice, the more grounded you are. I find they're not grounded.
hmm,
Um, what's especially people who do a high spiritual practice, healers, mediums,
mhm,
I've had to actually ground them
hmm,
more. There's something else I just want to mention is there has been a shift in the earth, in
hmm,
Mother Gaia, in the planet. The northern and southern axis have shifted. So we actually have to relearn how to ground.
hmm.
Even
Wow.
if it's small, minor, but there's just a bit of a
Right,
shift in how to ground again.
right.
And that's sort of also my practice with my clients.
It's interesting because there is this feeling that I have, but I don't have language for it, right? But it really feels that my centering, and my grounding is, I guess it's more natural, and I love how you said the flow. So you're
Mhm.
in flow, and what that, and I recognize that there are so many times when I allow myself to be distracted or to be concerned with things that have nothing to do with my flow. But it's I don't know if it's my entrepreneurial label, or if it's all the other ways that I show up, that wants me to, I don't want to say be off center, right? Right, to be the not centered, to, because it feels like they want me to give them more attention. So it's
Mhm.
like the most important thing is the entrepreneurial label. So I need to, worry about monetizing things. I need to worry about sales. I need to do that instead of just being centered and being with, my clients, or the souls that I'm honored to be with. And I don't want to say kind of have it work out the way it works out, or anything. There is structure, within it, but at the same time, sometimes it feels like there is this flow to my life that, the way I'm showing up, or the way, I guess I feel like I'm conditioned to show up, right?
Mm. That
um,
that's
is
the word.
is
Program.
not allowing, you're right, it's not
Mhm.
allowing me to stay centered, so I can be within my life.
No, that's you brought up a few points. And actually it's interesting because I did a podcast, which is going to be, it's a summit for empowering women. And this was the discussion we had yesterday that I got interviewed
Hmm.
on. it's that busyness. We're programmed to be busy. And yes, you do need to do your marketing. Yes, you do need to schedule people in and do that structured planning piece.
Mm-hmm.
The more you're centered, the more you're heart-centered. This is important. And that takes practice to actually do the business and do even your marketing from the heart space.
Right.
Grounded, connected to source. This is important. It's not just one way down and in the middle where it's a connection.
Right.
Then you're more in flow to bring in those, and I call them soul clients. The business I do, and I'm pretty sure the business you do, and most people who listen, it's not clients I bring in. When they come into my space, their souls have called them to come into my space.
Right. Yeah.
And I've called them in too, because it's time for them to do the work. So the part which I want to just go back is that programming piece.
Right.
We've been programmed, and we're getting out of this illusion that we need to be busy in order to be productive.
Yeah.
That's not a truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's called burnout at one point. And also you lose focus. And we're talking about being centered right now.
Right. Yeah. I had, I think I mentioned my yesterday, I had a lot of things planned, a lot of things that I had scheduled, and said that, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I want to complete. And I did a lot of it, but I didn't. There's some things that I'm still working on today, and there's a part of me was like, here you go again. You're not productive. You're not being productive, and all that other kind of stuff. But when I look at everything that I did yesterday, there was so much done. I really have, because of this desire, this programming to be busy and productive, right? I miss the things that I'm actually doing, because I don't know if that makes sense, but it feels like
you're missing the being,
right?
Not the doing.
Right. I'm missing the being. Right.
The language. I love, because you say one word, those words count.
Right.
And it's not, in coaching, we know this, but for any listeners who are not aware, the do, be, have.
Right.
It's actually be, do, have. Be centered, be in that space, and you will have abundance. And tomorrow, I think you're doing it on money.
Right. Absolutely.
And I work a lot with abundance, codes of abundance. So when we talk about programming, I'm actually doing coding now, activations for people, so that they can flow into that space. But you have to be heart-centered to do this work, and you have to be in flow, and you have to be grounded, and you have to be centered. Because if you're having squirrel moments, you're not present, you're not going to learn.
Right.
And grow.
Yeah, it's the one thing about abundance for me that I really got clear on recently, that I would talk about how abundant that I want to be, and how how abundant I wasn't, right? And then I started looking at all of the times when I was blocking abundance from my life. I was saying, someone would try to give me a compliment, and I would go, oh no, that's, not me, right? Right? Someone would try to, would try to bless me with something, or something. And I was just, oh no, I have enough. There's somebody who needs more. And the more that I was looking at that, I was realizing that I have a life of abundance, but I am blocking the abundance in my life. And I'm missing everything that is coming to me, because to be honest, I'm not centered. I am not, my heart is not centered on allowing abundance to go through my life, flow through my life. I am more concerned about, in some cases, how it would look, right? It's like, I'm supposed to be whatever the image that I am. I don't need, right? I give, you know, but it is, there's a lot of deprogramming that needs to happen with me.
Well,
And
we're programmed from, it goes just in our television or media, we're programmed. I want to just go back. If anyone has not seen yesterday's was with Chris.
no, it was Saturday.
Saturday, calling. Calling was the word.
Right.
And I know you both talked quite a bit about this actual topic, and it
Right.
was so good. It was
Hmm.
such a great talk. I actually was crying. I'm going to tell you honestly, I was crying with just this deep sense of knowing and love for both of you, because your message was so powerful. And if anyone, I ask you, go back and watch The Calling.
Right.
It was a really good episode. And it's around, both of you talked about abundance in that show. And I'm going to bring it back to a show I had, I think it was last week, on my podcast. It was called Gratitude is the Only Attitude, with my guest, Kimberly Bell. And it was one of the chapters in her book, chapter 11. But that is the piece. If we're not grateful and we're not aware in this present moment, in this now, of what we do have in all abundance, and abundance is not wealth or money.
Right.
It's mindset, purpose, passion, relationships, contribution, wealth, health. There's so much more to abundance. And to say I'm not abundant, really? How's your relationships? How are you doing with your health? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, and I know you do that with your clients.
Right.
So it's just bringing us back to this moment, into this now, into this presence, centered, grounded. Our feet, I always say, put your 2 feet on the ground. Often we cross our feet and they're not grounded, or they're not sitting on the ground.
Right. I just got mine. Mine were crossed.
I actually even put for my clients, sometimes they'll come in and I feel into people's space too, like where they're at energetically. And I have a selenite huge slab, and I have them put their feet on it. Because we're anyways, that's a whole other story, but we're mostly made of water,
right,
which is a crystal. And selenite clears crystals. So when you put your 2 feet on it, or put selenite on you, it clears you.
Wow.
Yeah. And a good tree. A tree, you can't go wrong with a tree.
Right.
Tree. Yeah.
It's really interesting. Probably a lot of September, I had this desire to go outside and be around trees. And I was like, I don't know what, I grew up in a city. And so it was very interesting for me to really just say that, you know what, I just need to be amongst the trees. I have no idea what that means. I just need to be, and I just caught myself just watching the flow of the trees around me. And it felt like there was like this conversation happening, right? It was just really, for me, even though that I say that everything that I don't understand is not crazy, sometimes the first thing that comes to my mind is that's crazy. So maybe that's the programming, right?
That train's passed. That's gone. I'm now doing, and I think Chris was also, is Chris' last name Enlightened? Is that his last name?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I love it.
So,
I think he spoke in the beginning of his talk about doing ancestry work.
Yes.
So I'm also doing ancestry work also, and shamanic work, and all the other, and I'm a quantum healer, and I'm an executive coach, like all of it. But when I say that train's passed, the more we know, the less we know.
Wow.
And yeah, who am I to say that doesn't exist? And I know personally, as my heart opens more, and as I'm more centered and grounded and connected to source and my guides and my beautiful and wise, healed, unwounded ancestors, the more opens up.
Right.
The more opportunities open up.
Oh, yeah. I think the one thing that I've become aware of for myself, and it shows up with some of my clients too, that the more, like, I don't want to say the more present I am. I think in some cases we're present or we're not present, right? But the awareness that what I'm open to, the more the openness, how openness shows up for me, the more that I can see what I've been denying, or what I have been allowing busyness and productivity, the programming, right, to kind of cause me to miss, if that makes sense. It just really, um, it's not a slowing down, but it's just like, okay, what do you see right now?
Mm.
And the more that I get centered, right, and just become present, I see that there is this world, this life, this awareness that is like, it's almost begging for my attention, but I am so programmed and conditioned to be busy doing other things than what's like right in front of me. Um, and it's just, it's not even like the feel, sometimes, I had this feeling that I was being lied to, right? People are keeping this from me. We're it's like we're being programmed to keep it from ourselves.
That's the one. So we are being programmed so we don't go within. It's
Hmm,
not outside of us, just outside. It's what's within us.
right.
We all have the answer. We
Hmm.
all have a gift. We all have, you guys called it, what was the show called? I call it gift, but your show was called, with Chris, what was it called?
No. Calling, right.
Calling.
Right,
I
right.
finally
I
changed
was
my
like
mind. Yeah,
I was
calling.
like, there's
We all
so
have a
many
calling, we all
words,
have
right?
a gift. Yeah, and that's the piece about gratitude, abundance, all those
Right,
pieces of busyness.
right,
It's not outside of us.
right,
It's within us.
right,
And the more going within is work,
right,
but it's also not crapping on ourselves. It's loving ourselves. It's seeing ourselves,
right,
all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly.
right. It's the
Yeah.
one thing that I, have really gotten for myself, that this in internal work is, it's work, and sometimes it's difficult and it's painful and all that other kind of stuff. However, I have determined, or that, what I have been doing in the past without the inside work is much harder. Living up to other people's expectations, that's always moving,
Mhm.
that's for the birds, right? Right? It's not
Well, you're
that,
lost. Yeah,
right,
those are your moments like being in a puddle on the ground, curled up into a little ball, crying.
right. Yeah,
Uh,
but
do you even wanna live?
right, but
Those are the moments.
we are so conditioned,
Mhm.
programmed to do that more than doing the inside work, right? And it's just like, wow. And it's like, stop it, right? It's just, uh
And the concept that people think something's wrong, like, I think your words today, I love it. Your words today with "I am complete."
yes.
You are unique, which I'd love to talk about your unicorn book at one point. And then what was the third one? There is now,
There is no one newer than you, by Dr. Seuss, right?
okay. Yeah, and to know that, this is very important. I do want to put this out there. You are born abundant,
Hmm,
bliss, and love.
hmm,
And the work we do is help people remember that.
hmm.
Just going back to remembering, because that then things get programmed and switched off, not switched on.
Right,
And so it's how to remember that you are abundant in all forms.
right.
You are bliss and you are love.
Wow. It's, my word for the year is remember.
Mm,
And it was, I've talked about how, I kind of resisted that word because my word last year was noun. So it's, so in my mind, it was like, well, geez, I'm getting present, and now I want to remember. It feels like I'm going back. I'm going backwards. But how it really showed up for me is that I was remembering myself, putting myself back together, and really recognizing and embracing the I am complete, that, and at the same time, I am not aware of my completeness. I am currently not aware of my completeness, but I am still complete. I am not missing anything, but I'm just not aware of everything in my completeness. And the more that that shows up for me, the more that I can, have those moments, have these conversations, and I can remember, myself. I can, oh yeah, I do have that. I am that. I read the Power of Now,
Mm-hmm. Totally.
last year, and I will say that it like scared the holy bejesus out of me. And I think the reason why is because I read that book to get like knowledge. I don't know if you've ever read something that
Well,
says, "Oh, I
yeah,
need
no,
to."
the first time I read it, I couldn't understand it. And then the second time I read it, I'm like, this is so common sense.
Right,
So just, we're all on a different journey, all perfect, all divine. So
right.
if you don't get it the first time, don't worry about it.
Yeah, but the first time I read it, it was like, I'm not learning anything. I know this. How do I know this?
You,
And it was like, oh crap, what's going on right now? Right? It's like I didn't have the language, but I knew that, and I was like, whoa, 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 wait a second, back up. And in my practice, I heard once, I've heard it several times, but one time it really stuck out, is that you are a lot further on this journey than you think you are. And because I caught myself, looking for gurus, looking for, wise, enlightened people, and I would be talking to people, and they're like, "Whoa, I didn't know." It's like, how'd you
yeah,
get there? Some it was I was at I don't know if you've ever gone to Wisdom 2.0. But it's a conference in San Francisco. It's like a combination of spirituality and technology, and how they can help each other, and how they get in each other's way, and all that other kind of stuff. But there's a couple vendors, I can't remember, that were at the conference there, and they were talking about certification and all that other kind of stuff for different things. And I was talking. Oh, and I guess I said something, and they're like, "Oh, are you already certified?" I'm like, no." It's like, well, wait a minute. How do you know that? Right? It's like, well, that's what our certification is. So, yeah. So maybe you don't need to. And I was
no, and
like,
this is important. It's the knowing that there are quite a few people going through this right now, and I hold space for them, that they're not going insane,
hmm,
that you are, no, it's good what you're going through. You I'm going to bring up imposter syndrome.
got it.
Imposter syndrome, gurus, and the knowing. Okay, so keep it
Okay.
centered on three.
Okay.
Imposter syndrome, if people aren't aware, imposter syndrome is normally high achieving people, men and women, but more often women, who think they got to wherever they did because somebody made a mistake. Um, the exam was easy. So this is kind of goes back to not acknowledging your successes, which you talked about earlier.
Right.
So that
Right.
imposter syndrome. And then we go about getting all these certifications, and a wall full of, I'm looking at my wall because yes, I've had it. I don't have imposter syndrome anymore. There's a reason why, but I have a full wall of certifications, masters, and all lovely things. And my name has a lot of letters behind it.
Hmm. Mm-mm.
That the knowing is, I actually knew even back then when I did my master's in leadership, I had knowing.
Hmm.
The research and the work I did was validating it.
Hmm. Got it.
it's now at a point that I just have the knowing. And it's really interesting. Like, how do I know that? I just know it. And that's the shifts of evolution going on right now, ascension.
Hmm.
And I had one particular person recently say, how do you know that? That's, Eckhart Tolle. It's people are giving me Joe Dispenza. And I'm like, I haven't read Joe Dispenza, and I just know that.
Right.
I'm like, how do you know that? I'm like, I just know it. And it's sort of like something's been activated in me
Mm,
from doing this work, and it takes work.
right.
And this heart-centered space really does help to kind of activate and remember this knowing, this
Right.
wisdom.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just want to put that
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah. And I I am working on a number of different things within my coaching, and imposter syndrome is a conversation within it. And the one is, I think it was like, getting power from imposter syndrome or something. There's something basically the looking at it as not a bad thing but a good thing to allow you to get awareness of yourself.
Mhm.
So within that, so I'm still developing that, but I think there is this, when we talked about being centered, and really, one, it's really being in the moment, and trusting that moment. The one thing that really came up for me last year, and that I learned, is that when I started to get present, I spent more time judging what I was present to than just being present in it, and just being like, and with no judgment. And the more that I release the judgments, and I say that there is judgment free zone, is that, judgments can come but they're free to go, right? So not beat myself up because I have a judgment, but it's just recognize that, okay, you're not going to stay around, and I'm not going to like hang out with you. But the more that I was able to just be present and be in the moment, and then what I'm learning is to trust that moment, trust who I am in that moment, and just staying centered in that, and allow, in some cases, my heart, my head, and my body to kind of like just stay with it, and just kind of, and just go ahead. It really causes me to, I guess, just be in my life, right? And there is this feeling that, um, here's this quote again that, I still don't remember his name, and I guess it really doesn't matter whose name it is, but there's a part of me that says I need to say, but the thing is that if you can see your path, it's not your path.
Hmm.
Your path is is created one every step at a time. The time, and I in those moments of taking that next step, being in the moment, taking that step, being present, taking the step. There is that, what the hell am I doing right now? Right?
No, I love this because I always say, just give me the guidebook.
Right.
Like, God, source, just give me the guidebook. I'm good. But it's not
Right.
going to happen.
Right.
Right? And the guidebook actually is these moments, like before we're in that green space, you call it, before the talk. I was saying I was actually asking my guides, universe, what are my gifts?
Hmm.
And then your show showed up.
Hmm.
And I'm watching you and Chris talk, and I'm like, I'm actually getting all the answers I asked for.
Hmm.
So being present to also what's emerging, it might not be right away. It might be a week
Hmm.
from now, a year from now,
Right.
10 years from now, but it'll come up. But do ask. That is really important. That has come up quite a bit in quite a few people I follow, is do ask. You're not
Hmm.
alone.
Right.
Be present because you're not going to hear it.
Right.
You're not going to see it, but
Hmm.
do ask. Do ask what are, whatever that question is. And just on top of that, gratitude, gratitude,
Right.
gratitude. Like, I'm so grateful for this moment to be able to ask this question. What are my gifts?
Right. There is a centering that in some cases I get um, when I close my eyes. Because we were talking about that. I think you were mentioning it before that you felt like you're out of center, and sometimes that's how
Very nice. Yeah.
that's how I feel
That's actually a good
sometimes
point.
when I'm looking and it's like, okay, where am I in here?
Mhm.
But I get more, I feel, let's just say that I feel more centered when I close my eyes. There's just like, there is um, this leveler that I kind of feel within me that causes me to like shift. And it's like, okay, this is where I need to be. And to do that. And it's just really, I'll say it again, weird because one, I wasn't using that language before. I didn't look. I focus more on my eyes for my centering. I focus, I didn't trust the feeling that I had. I just saw, okay, this is what I see. It kind of looks kind of off, but maybe it's okay, and that'll work. But the more that I'm able
Mhm.
to not just depend on what I see, then there is this feeling of centering that causes me to show up in a relationship, in a conversation, and in the moment that I'm in. Is that, do you think our eyes are lying to us, or I
No,
don't know. All right.
they're a window to our soul, and
Hmm,
depending on the culture too, just being aware
hmm,
doesn't work for everybody to look them
right.
in the eyes.
Hmm,
Um, I what's happened in my practice in this now could shift is the heart.
hmm,
When we look at frequencies, some interesting research around emotions and frequency and love. Love is
hmm,
sort of like that centered 500 hertz point.
hmm.
Um, I think shame is like 30 hertz, and absolute passion
Oh,
is up there 1,000. So, like, your heart is your center, your heart chakra, your actually your vessel of your heart, the energy of your heart. So as we've been talking this whole time, I'm here.
hmm.
I'm in my heart. I'm trying to look you in the eye, but actually I have to look at the camera to look you in the eye. It's all an illusion, quite honestly. But the
Yes.
illusion is real, it's not an illusion, my heart center. And when I'm
Hmm,
talking and listening, being in the space for all the listeners, it's not just you and I who are going to be in this space
right,
or are in this space. It's also the people listening. So my
right.
heart and the frequency of my heart is my center. I like, do we have, I'll do it quite quickly. I'd rather
Yes,
do it
we have
longer.
time.
Can I do a quick meditation? I'll call it a meditation that I do on all my shows, News for the Soul, Heart Healer, and I do it for my clients and I do it for myself every day. Do we have
Absolutely.
time?
Absolutely. We do.
Okay. So if you're listening and you're driving, please re-listen. Listen to it, but don't do it. Don't close your eyes. If you are sitting, I recommend that you put your 2 feet on the ground. And if you're lying, that's just perfect. Okay, so if you want to close your eyes, just close them now. And if you don't, just at least focus on something in front of you. Okay, so it's not
Okay.
distracting. So with your eyes closed, I'd like you to visualize and feel into your spine, this beautiful structure that holds your body up, that's holding you now in your seat on the surface of where you're lying. Just feel into your spine all the way up where it attaches to your head. And now I'd like you to feel The sensation of all the way down to the bottom of your spine is your tailbone. And I'd like you to feel into that space. And at your tailbone is a red crystal. This is your root chakra. So this is a red, vibrant crystal, and it's dense. It has a very dense frequency, very steady frequency. And now we're going to open a portal just underneath this root chakra, this beautiful red crystal. And we're going to shoot that portal, that energy all the way down, all the way down to the center of Mother Earth. Mother Gaia, Pachamama, Danu. She has many beautiful names. And at the center of Mother Earth is another crystal, and you're attached. That crystal is your crystal. Everyone has one. And now you're attached to Mother Gaia. And in this moment, in this now, just release anything that is not serving you. And she will receive it with pure joy and gratitude, because she shifts that energy into a higher frequency. So just let it go, so that you're present in this moment. Beautiful. And now Mother Gaia, Pachamama, Mother Earth, is going to infuse your crystal with grounding energy, unconditional love. She supports you always. She's also going to germinate any ideas, projects, things that you've been thinking about. She holds that germination, those ideas, and she's going to infuse that also into your crystal. And the colors coming right now are greens, reds, and pinks. And now we're going to shoot that energy back up, right up the portal, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up to your tailbone, to your root chakra, and you're attached. Now just feel into this beautiful feminine divine energy in your root chakra, and just let it flow, the energy, out to your hips, to the front and to the back. And now bring it up. Bring the energy up to your sacral chakra. Hold it there. As it infuses this beautiful area, which is your creative space. And those beautiful seeds that were germinating are going to just sort of spread into this space, your sacral chakra. And now we're going to bring that energy up to your solar plexus, your power, your inner knowing, your power, your inner power. Just let that fuse in there. And now we're going to weave it into your heart energy, your heart chakra, feminine divine energy. Now, if you can, put your hands above your head. And if you can't, that's just perfect. And I want you to visualize at the top of your head, just feel into that space, a crown. And have fun with this. Visualize whatever crown you want. Play with it. This is your crown chakra. And now you're going to open up a portal space above this crown chakra, and we're going to open it up and shoot the energy all the way through the celestial skies, however you wish to visualize that. It's all perfect. And we're going to move this energy all the way to source energy. And within that space is a star. And the energy is moving to that star, which is your star. Everyone has one. And within the star is a crystal, and you're attached. You are now attached to source energy, your star, where you came from. And within this space are your wise, healed, unwounded ancestors, your angels, your guides, your spirit animals. This amazing support team who are always, always there. And they are just beaming with pride. And infusing your crystal with unconditional love. Within this space is also intuition and knowing. And time doesn't exist here. There is no time. So we're going to infuse that energy into your crystal also, where you get to play with time. And now we're going to shoot that energy down, all the way down, all the way down through the celestial space that you visualized. Beautiful. And now we're going to infuse it into your crown chakra. Beautiful. Just let it flow through whatever crown you visualized as it flows in a clockwise formation. And now we're going to bring it down into your third eye, which is just right here, just above your eyes, just above your eyebrows. And we're going to infuse that knowing, that intuition into that space. And this is masculine divine energy. We're going to bring it down into your throat chakra so you can speak your truth from a place of knowing. And now we're going to weave it into your heart chakra. So your heart energy, masculine divine energy, feminine divine energy, all weaving together. Now they move in a clockwise formation all the way around your body. So just visualize sort of like a donut shape around your body, a little constellation. And it just keeps moving around your body. Now this is your heart energy space, and you are now centered. You can open your eyes when you're ready. So I love this space. And when I do my coaching, my treatments, the client does it from this space.
Right.
They're out of their head. They're grounded. They feel so supported. And they're coming from the heart energy centered space. And there's so much healing that happens from this space. And it's also the portal to our soul. It's the doorway to our souls. So it's kind of nice to sort of tap back into it.
Yeah. There is this, it's like, I realize that there's a level of silliness that that shows up every once in a while. And there's like a York peppermint patty, right? This cool breeze just came over me, right? That's the only thing that I was thinking of. So I don't know. I haven't had a York peppermint patty in a while. So
yeah,
that's the feeling that I have.
I love those. We used to take the wrappers and put them on the wall. Yeah. And this space is really fun because we can approach ourselves, our relationships, our marketing. We were talking about marketing and how to bring in our clients from this space.
Right.
And I also go to the grocery store with this space. And just sort of like, it's my energy, but I also every once in a while I kind of like let it go a little bigger. Infuse a lot of love around the grocery store, especially at this time.
Yeah, it's I really appreciate it. There is this state that I thought I was in, and I think there was during that time, the gift that you've given all of us, there is this. It's almost like this tuning fork, right? There is this. I know all these images are coming to mind. So
I love your tuning fork. I'm going to use that one. Yeah.
And so there is this. So there's this vibration that that is coming on me right now to just kind of just stay here. So wow, I think we can talk about this for hours, right?
Well, it's a frequency, right? So Chris talked about the frequency and the vibration and how to bring that in. And the people talk about manifesting, and like attracts like, and that's why I am so excited about today's topic and conversation, because I know the vibration that you give out to people. And then I tuned into it today. I could feel it. And I was like, oh, this is so great. I love this vibration. I love this feeling. And I know that especially the combination of you and I together today on this talk is also giving out a vibration to others, and they can resonate, and we're increasing the frequency and vibration of the planet.
Wow.
Yeah.
The I guess the question that's come up for me, and I don't know if it's my doing or my being question,
Mm.
is that there's a knowing of the vibrations, right? My vibrations, but I don't want to say can I control or is there an awareness? Can I gain an awareness of my what vibrations I am letting out? Did that question make sense?
Yes,
Okay. So,
totally.
okay.
It depends on where you want to tune in. So
Okay.
I talk about the physical, mental, emotional, and energetic bodies.
Got it.
So whichever one you want to tune into. My practice personally, some is physical, doing yoga, going for a run, going for a walk in nature. They're going to tune in their vibrational level from a physical.
Got it.
Mental is the state of your beliefs. You can shift it with your belief, your patterns, awareness of that, mindset. Emotions is the one I normally fall to, and energy. But emotions is to me, I'm trained in that.
Got it.
So when I'm aware of my emotion, I have a feeling wheel that I use, and I use with my clients, that we tap into what is the emotion, because emotions is data. As
Hmm.
a techie guy, you'd love this.
Right.
Emotions is data. It's no judgment that they're good or bad. It's just data. But if you stay in that emotion, it's a low frequency.
Got
But the
it.
emotion itself is just data. And then I look, what is the emotion? What is the story? You talk about labels,
Hmm.
um, similar but different. So what's the story? So what's the trigger? What's the emotion? What's the story? Because we make up the stories.
Right.
And then
Absolutely.
I ask, what else? What's the next emotion? We go through the process again. And then the shift in the vibration is in the awareness. It's the third emotion that counts.
Hmm.
That's your
Hmm.
aha. And then the shift happens. And then we can
Great.
sort of look at things. Within that is forgiveness, is also a frequency leverage. I love forgiveness. It's
Hmm.
so big to leverage and shift our frequency.
Hmm.
Forgive self, forgive others.
Right.
Ho'oponopono is a practice I use quite a lot. Um, I actually did it today. I often, when I do that grounding into Mother Gaia,
Hmm.
I say, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you.
Hmm.
3 times.
Wow.
And then the last one is energy. Like just meditating shifts our frequency. I use Palo Santo and sage in my space also. What we do in our space.
Hmm.
And I'm aware of who am I around? When am I around?
Hmm.
Pets actually are a good. Pets can increase your vibration,
Hmm.
and trees.
Uh-oh. I hope my wife isn't watching. She keeps on talking to me about getting a kitten, and it's like I've been fighting that, right? So she
That's a losing battle, William. Yeah, you're getting it. Yeah.
so
No, but they really do. I mean, my puppy keeps me up,
mm,
and I get up really early. But there's so much love
mm,
and joy. And my other dog I take for walks, and they're just so happy, and it's unconditional. But it's also what I give them. They're my babies, my
right,
4 babies. Yeah.
right. So great. So you have given so much, and I just want to see if there's any last thing that you want to leave everybody with from this conversation around centered.
Yeah. Chris, just to tap into Chris, because when he did his last things, he said, go be you.
Hmm.
Mine is you do you.
Hmm.
You do you.
Hmm.
And I'm going to go back to that. It was just G, you are you.
Hmm. Right.
Right?
Got
So you
it.
go, yes, we need mentors and teachers, but really the work is us. And we are all unique, beautiful. And I love the unicorn. I can't wait to see what that book is you're writing. But we're unique. We're all unicorns.
Hmm.
We're unique. We're different. But together we are whole. But you do you.
Right.
That's my big one. And yeah, find a grounding meditation. There's so much online. If you can't remember what I just did, just listen to this one, or I do it on my podcast, beginning of my podcast. If you don't want to listen to the whole podcast, at least you get the meditation in the beginning.
Right.
Just something to ground you. My last one is you said, I want to talk about remembering.
Okay.
Remembering is also remembering we're connected to nature. Remembering that we are connected to our ancestors. We've forgotten. And they're there to bless us with blessings
Right.
and to support us. It's a really cool space to be in. But we need to do the work and remember. And remember that you are whole, you are worthy, you are born bliss, abundant, and love.
I'll take that in. Blessings, my friend. Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. This was a great Tuesday.
Yeah, I would love to say our goodbyes within the green room, but if you're able to stay, but this has been great. Oh boy, it's like, sometimes when when I get centered, it's like I want to just stay, right? Instead of move within that's in that centeredness. But in the framework of be, do, have, right? Once I am once I'm there, awareness of my be, there's a doing to my being, so I can have what I intend to have. And so yeah, this is great. It's like, sometimes I'm seen as this chilled person. It's like I've reached another level of chill from this meditation time. so this has been great. But this is a powerful chill for me. I don't know why I feel that, and I feel need to say that. But I hope this conversation has brought value to you, not just to your day, but to your life. I invite you to reach out to me at amwilliambrown.com, a place to help you be yourself and live your life. I will warn you, because I'm about to make a change to my closing remarks, and because I realized within meditation today that my belief around what I've been saying for a number of episodes, there's a last statement that I no longer believe. So I have changed it. So because the world wants you, the world needs you, and the world is not waiting for you. So go be you. Have a great rest of the day. See you tomorrow on One Words Conversation.